1. Me and my girlfriend have been together for 7 years. She just told me she has a crush on my best friend. I've been with my girlfriend for 7 years, of which 3 were long distance. All of that seems like pocket change now as compared to the year of COVID. For the last year, she moved to San Francisco and joined me and my 2 best friends in the same apartment. Now over the past 2 months, my girlfriend and I were going through a rough patch relationship-wise. She told me she had doubts about us and didn't feel appreciated enough, and so I worked on that. I guess love only understands its own depth in the moments of separation. Anyway, long story short, I've really been doing my best, and on most occasions, it seemed like everything was going great again. She felt appreciated and so did I until the moment she told me that there still are doubts, and I asked her why, and then I just received vague answers. This continued for the past 2 months. Our lease ended in San Francisco, and we all went back to our home countries for the summer. My girlfriend and I are back in Berlin. We had a few great days here together, really reconnecting, and last Friday then, she told me that about a month ago, she had a conversation with my best and longest friend in the US, in which she had told him that she has a crush on him, and apparently, he told her the same or similar back. Now at least I finally understand why all my efforts to make things right again, to reconnect, and to basically put a new shoe onto the foot of our relationship weren't solving the right problem. Now a lot of situations have different light, such as the conversations between the 2 of them, the way he was looking at her, the advice I received from him on what I could do to make things better, and more. Today I could say that emotionally, I am at one of the lowest points of my life. I'm not only scared of losing my girlfriend but my best friend too. And the worst of all is that we're all planning to go back to San Francisco at the end of August, especially since my friend and I are going to be living together again. And I'm scared to come into a situation in which they are going out with each other. I really don't think I could take that. Now I told her that I really don't want her to keep texting him, and to stop that line of contact for now. She told me she doesn't want to interfere in our friendship and that she'll do that, but who knows. I told her that I want a clear message from her whether or not she wants to give it an honest try again with me now that all problems are laid out in front before we talk again. And she said yes to that too. Now pardon for this long message, and this entire context for my situation, but I am really unsure of what to do next. Should I confront my friend about it? If so, how? How do I minimize the damage? I want to give us another try. We've had such beautiful and loving times, and I really don't want to lose that or her. I have so much hope and see a potentially beautiful future at times, but then at other times, I'm also so scared of what comes next. Thanks for reading. Any advice, words of wisdom, or anything else that you might think could be helpful is greatly appreciated. 2. He is the one or not? My boyfriend and I have been dating for a few years now. At first I fell so hard and so fast. We began dating after a month of knowing each other and moving in together after a year of knowing each other. However, after the first year together I started to notice some red flags, I guess you'd call them. He shows no affection, talks very vulgarly about women, gaslights me, treats his family very disrespectfully, is not very supportive, etc. But I kept ignoring these signs as there was also a lot of good in our relationship at the time. But the past 8 months has been especially hard. Red flags have become more apparent, as well as screaming matches, and have had multiple conversations about how things need to change in order to continue. But at this point it feels almost a little too late. I feel like the love I once had isn't there anymore. I do love and care for him, but not so much romantically, as you can only be shown no physical affection for so long. A voice deep down keeps saying we aren't meant for each other, but I don't know if that is an intrusive thought or a true feeling. Also, anyone out there that has found the one, how do you know? I just don't know if all couples go through this and it passes and I'm jumping the gun, or am I wasting my time? 3. I want to have sex with my boyfriend, but he doesn't want to. Let me start off by saying this. We had a rocky start. We've been together for a year and a half and just recently moved in together. He's the most sensitive, sweetest person I've ever gotten the pleasure to know. I see a future with him, and every time I bring up a future, he feels the same. We've grown a lot emotionally together just over the past year, and I really want to grow more. With COVID, it had been hard since we spent most of our time with each other, and I really loved it, even the down parts. I'm extremely extroverted and he's extremely introverted, but he's exactly my type. We've had some pretty rough fights before and I've lost a friend over it, but I'm not ready to give up. We've always managed to talk it out except this one. I've made some bad jokes before teasing him while I was drunk and really regretted it. Sometimes I say things without thinking it through, and that is probably my biggest flaw. I've never felt such a connection with someone. However, there are points where he brings up that often. It often goes like this: boundaries, listening, and lines I've crossed. Let me explain. I do understand all those things I've done have not been okay. I come from an abusive family that I had been separated from for many years, but forced to stay with after my former relationship ended. I was not in a good place mentally as I was trying to figure out my next step in life. I had lost half my friends and my home with that relationship, although we do talk often. It was a good breakup. It was very hard for me to readjust. I had nowhere to go, so I went to live with my family, although it made me feel very uncomfortable. I felt I had no other choice. I just lost my job due to depression, and I was struggling with homelessness and couch surfing with the friends I had left. When I met him, I thought he was the coolest person ever. I really looked up to him. He liked me too, so he let me stay around. But when he asked when I was going home, I made excuses to stay, and that's where I crossed some boundaries. At the time, I thought he would understand, but I didn't realize how hard it was for him to adjust with me being there, and that's where I didn't listen. I had promised him just a few months until I get a job and find a place, but COVID got worse, and a few months turned into a long time. To the point where I basically never left. He would often get angry with me, and my own inability to put myself aside for him was hardly there. I was in a constant fight for survival. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I look back on it and I feel it has traumatized our relationship. I've done everything I could to talk to him about it, but he's just not attracted to me anymore. We have stopped being intimate. The most flirtatious comment he gave me in weeks was, "Oh, look at those," while pointing at my boobs since I was in a slightly see-through shirt. I've been dying to have sex, anything really, and it made me want to try tonight, but he rejected me as he always does. I won't lie, it really breaks my heart, and I would do anything to change it, but I have to listen and respect his boundaries if he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. I don't want to cross the line anymore. I've already hurt him so much. I bought him a kitten this week, cooked for him, cleaned up after him, trying to give it my all, 100% effort. I've tried everything. I know there's nobody else. I've asked him if he still wants to be with me, and he say yes. I've bought him presents. I'm trying so hard. I literally don't know what to do anymore. I feel like we are so good, then we aren't when it comes to the bedroom. Should I just wait until he comes to me? That could take months, and I feel us drying up by then. I can't sit and watch us die. Can someone please help? Any advice would help, please. 4. How do I distance myself from my insensitive boyfriend, who happens to be my only friend? I really would like to give us some space, but I want human contact that isn't my family. Whenever we hang out, I usually end up crying on my way home due to some rude remarks he made. For example, I asked him if I could eat some of his fries, and he went on a long rant about my social skills and how I'm unable to make any friends. I apologized for triggering him. I really didn't mean to make him upset, but he doubled down on his comments. He never compliments me. Actually, he's more likely to insult my appearance. I'll say something hurts my feelings, but he'll write it off as getting butt hurt. The only time I feel wanted is during sex, and even then it lasts a very short time. He never touches me, not even a simple hand on the thigh. I really feel used, but at the same time I'm really just waiting to get a friend group so I can break up with him. I want to give us some distance, but I feel so needy to such a shitty guy. Any advice?